Hello, welcome. Um, this video is about how to solve a system of equations when you have two quadratic equations, like we see here. And so, because these are both equal to y, then these two expressions to the right are equal to each other. You know, if you've got A is equal to B and B is equal to C, then we can conclude then that A is equal to C. Well, that's like Y is like the B in this example, and so if two things are equal to each other, then those other two things are also equal. So we're going to set this up. I'm going to put x squared minus 2x minus 8 is equal to minus 2x squared minus 8x plus 1. And we want to put this in standard form. So I want all of my x squareds together, I want all of my x's together, and all of my constants together. So I'm going to get rid of this minus 2x squared by adding 2x squared. You're adding a number to its opposite, you get 0. So I got to do it over here, also 2x squared, and that will cancel. So there's the two sides of my equation. I'm going to cancel that on the right. And then I'm going to get rid of that minus 8x by adding 8x. Add 8x, and over here add 8x. I'm putting them by their like terms. Those cancel. And then finally get rid of that plus 1 by subtracting 1, and over here subtracting 1. And that would cancel that on the right. And on the right, then we're left with just 0. Everything has been eliminated there. On the left, we've got x squared plus 2x squared is 3x squared. Minus 2x plus 8x, or 8x minus 2x, however you want to look at it, there would be plus 6x. And then finally, minus 8 minus 1 would be negative 9. And then I've got an equation in standard form. I want to see if I can maybe solve this by factoring. And so I noticed that 3, 6, and 9 are all multiples of 3, so I'm going to divide everything in here by 3. And that gives me then x squared plus 2x minus 3 is equal to 0 divided by 3 is 0. And now I've got some smaller numbers, but I think maybe I can factor that. So I'm going to go off to the side here and say my AC value is negative 3, my B value is 2. And so if I take 3 times 1, that gives me 3, but I need one of these to be negative. And if I put the negative on the 3, that would make it negative 2 when I add them. So I'm going to put the negative on the 1. Now 3 times negative 1 is negative 3, but 3 plus negative 1 is 2. And so that works. And my factors then are x plus 3 times x minus 1 equals 0. Now, if you're asking yourself, why didn't I use the box, or why didn't I factor by grouping? Because when your a value here, when there's nothing there in front of your x squared, we know that a is 1. Then once you found the two numbers that multiply to your c value minus 3 and add to your b value, then you can go straight to it, and you can verify that this is true. X times x is x squared. 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. And then x times negative 1, negative 1x, and 3 times x, 3x. 3x minus 1x is the 2x, and so it works there all the way around. So then I can, I'm going to take each of those two factors and set them equal to 0. X plus 3 equals 0, or x minus 1 equals 0. And this would give me that x equals negative 3, because if I put negative 3 in for x, negative 3 plus 3 is indeed 0. And this would give me that x equals 1, because 1 minus 1 is 0. And so both of those are solutions to what we have here. But we're not there yet. We don't know what the y values are that go with each of those x values, negative 3 and 1. So I'm going to put up here y. I could use either one of these equations. They should work for both of them. Y equals negative 3 squared, that's my x squared, minus 2 times negative 3, and then minus 8. And you can just plug that into your calculator, and that's fine, but I'm going to go ahead and work through it. Negative 3 squared is positive 9. Negative 2 times a negative 3 is positive 6. And then I've got minus 8 there on the end. 9 plus 6 is 15, minus 8. And 15 minus 8 would be 7. And so y equals 7 when x equals negative 3. And so one of the solutions is negative 3 comma 7. And the other value of 1, I want to find out what happens when x equals 1. So I'm just going to do the same thing, but here I'm going to put 1, which is going to be different values. 1 here and 1 here. Now 1 squared is 1. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. And then I have minus 8. And 1 minus 2 is negative 1 minus 8. And negative 1 minus 8 is negative 9. And so once again here, y equals negative 9. But that's when x equals 1. So the other solution, x equals 1, y equals negative 9. And those would be the solutions that we have here. 1, negative 9, and negative 3, 7 are the answers that we have for that solution. I think it's worth saying that sometimes you could have a parabola that might go like this, and then maybe another one that goes like this. And so again, you have 1, 2 solutions, points that work on both equations and both graphs. Or you might have possibly something that looks like this, where they touch maybe just right there together at their vertices, or maybe even something like this, where it comes up, kind of touches each other briefly, and then they just have the one solution. Or you might have a parabola that goes something like this and something goes like that, and they just don't ever touch at all. And in that case, you would have 0 solutions. All right, thank you.